really authentic.
Yeah, right.
And you can film it. And
Yeah, you don't want to put it in the back of your car.
No, that's my biggest debate at this point. I'm like, sweet.
really authentic.
Yeah, right.
And you can film it. And
Yeah, you don't want to put it in the back of your car.
No, that's my biggest debate at this point. I'm like, sweet.
well, it's classic lower 79 F-150.
There we go. That'd be perfect photo op.
Right?
Yeah.
It is. I've wanted to get
I have to
Ben
get
in the
hundreds
back
of
that thing
apples,
forever.
so I need a spot to put them. A truck sounds way better than my trunk.
Really authentic.
Yeah, right.
And you can film it. And
Yeah, you don't want to put it in the back of your car.
No, that's my biggest debate at this point. I'm like, sweet.
well, it's classic lower
Yeah.
79 F-150.
There we go. That'd be perfect photo op.
Right?
Yeah.
It is. I've wanted to get
I have to
Ben
get
in the
hundreds
back
of
that thing
apples,
forever.
so I need a spot to put them. A truck sounds way better than my trunk.
Right? I really did want to get Ben in the back of my truck at one point, not for the reasons that you guys are thinking, but
You put that thought in our head. I mean, really.
right, well, that's
This
my
is what
job,
it's like working.
right? I just sprinkle these little bits of love every once, and then you just run with it. Whatever
Yeah.
happens, it's not my
Yeah,
fault.
yeah.
But I wanted to make a video, so I built that truck, and I wanted to make a video for GHdesignCo using that truck, and I had this vision of doing cookies in a parking lot with just smoke barreling out, but Ben standing in the tailgate like this, in the back.
I'll make it through
I
that.
know it's crazy. I know it is, but I've actually seen this in my head, and I still want to do it.
Get Jason to do it.
Hey, well,
Red Stallion.
I could.
Maybe you can add me in after. I'll
there
just
you go.
green screen it for
Oh,
you.
right, totally. I could. Yeah, I bet Jake could probably.
Oh, there you
make
go,
that
yeah.
happen for me.
That's hilarious.
Are you talking about the photographer you're friends with, Jake?
No, Jake is my son.
Jake's your son, right? But he
Yeah.
did I want to say it's a water drop that froze, and he was able to capture it.
Yes.
He did that experiment.
Yeah, he was.
That was
out-
really cool.
It was like 20 below January, and he was out there for like almost an hour and a half,
Early,
freezing
too.
his ass
Yeah.
off, trying to capture that shot, and he did it. He's actually working. I'm heavy into like Harleys and shit too, and custom bikes and whatever. He's actually working for my buddy at Forever Two Wheels right now, doing all of his media stuff, capturing every time they take the mini bikes out and dump them and do something stupid. These guys are characters, and he just follows them around with cameras all day and just films all their shenanigans. But he's good. All my kids are good kids, but Jake could probably do something crazy like that.
Do your kids give you any kind of feedback on your designs? Have you ever used them in that way, in that sense, where you want their opinion about what you're creating? Because
Yes.
you've got to play to a demographic, and you were talking earlier, 17, 22, were the ages of your children?
Yes.
Somewhere in that
Yeah,
age?
my daughter's 17. My twin boys are 22.
Oh, twin boys, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and Bailey is, he's my weed tester. He's a heavy connoisseur. Loves everything about the product. He's got his own little grows going, and he grows some dank stuff too, surprising.
Really intelligent with it too.
He is like a sponge, he doesn't interact with people much or ever.
Right.
I think that's really common. as
Usually it's
far
the best
as
growers.
cultivator.
Yeah.
You're introverted, you can grow weed.
That is an attraction to being a cultivator, isn't it?
Yeah, introverts are highly attracted to it.
Yeah.
But he's, the people that he's got a lot of respect for these guys, always has. Travis took him under his wing for a little while, helping him
Soil.
with some soil stuff.
stuff.
He's had conversations with Mike from Cannapro,
Oh, yeah.
who's also a really great dude. He's known Ben
the
for
professional.
forever. Big fan of his Tangelope.
Yeah.
They're great kids. And Bailey,
So the idea of bouncing off what you do, is it always been kind of a shared thing?
Not so much
No?
the design stuff. I mean,
No.
with the design stuff, everything I do is like, oh, Dad, that's so sick. So
Can't believe them anymore. is
yeah,
what
I
you're
can't
saying.
because they just love everything.
Yeah, right.
But they each, Jake is getting really really good at the video stuff, and he's been helping me out with some stuff or doing some promo stuff like I'm going to send him down to Blossom Cannabis in Biddeford, one of my clients, and he's going to do all new packaging, new building. I've got like 20-foot B on the side of the building that we put up there, and so he's going to go down there and do some filming and whatever. I'm just trying to integrate them as much as I can, into what I do. And Jake will help out with the magazine a little bit too if I need him to take some shots or do whatever.
Is he
Yeah.
into the editing end of it or the actual taking of the video?
Both.
Oh, wow.
Both, yeah.
Editing part stuff.
Editing part's very exciting.
Yeah, but I think that's the part that he loves the most.
Oh, cool.
Well, it's more technical in it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
and he follows like heavy hip hop stuff. They were the ones who really got me into hip hop because when they're younger, that's all that
Yeah.
they were
Yeah.
into.
That
Like,
generation.
I turned them on to like Ludacris and some stuff that I listened to, but then they were like, oh, open the doors. Now they're deep underground stuff that I've never heard of and whatever. But they've expanded my mind as far as the hip hop world and the creativity that goes into it. And there are some lyrical geniuses out there, and the beats and it's mind blowing. I'm just a huge music fan, so they've brought a lot to my life from that perspective. And my daughter, she's my princess, and she's a real pain in my ass.
Yeah.
She's also too good looking for her own good. That's going to be a problem.
That is going to be a problem for you, Dad. I don't know why you're going.
Love you, kid.
I was just gonna say how going to his children, and a friend of mine is a music producer, not any famous or all, but he loves me because I'll honestly critique his music, but all of his friends will be like, oh yeah, it's the best beat ever. And it's like same thing with you. It's like you don't want to hear that, and even with us and our products, just give me a little criticism, I can take it. But people don't like doing that,
No. Oh, I mean, a lot of people obviously are trying to appease you.
Of course.
That type of thing. But really, I mean, any sort of criticism I find far more valuable than
Right, 100%.
any compliment whatsoever.
Some people get offended by it. It's like they're kind of helping you out.
They're
because
helping
if
you
they
out.
didn't
Yeah.
like you, they wouldn't take the time
Exactly.
to type it.
Yeah, and that's in any relationship.
Yeah.
I feel
100%.
The best
way more
friend's going to tell you
than bullshit,
what you
Yeah.
need to hear, not what you want to hear.
Yeah.
That and it gives you something to work on and to improve upon and to then make your
100%,
product
yeah.
that much better. So
Yeah, exactly. I remember when I was in school or like a junior designer, it was my art director who always made it was that last 10%. I could always bring something to 90%, but it was their influence and their opinion that always made it perfect.
Nice.
So that's how I see my.
It's tough to be that guy sometimes to say hey man, this is great, but if
At the end of the day, you'll
tastes
get way
like
more
this-
respect
all
because
day.
nobody has the confidence to dish it out to
To
somebody
do
how
that.
it really.
Exactly.
One of the things we've always kind of felt like, or from the outside looking in, though, and I say that I'm feeling closely knit, but still observing it, is that ego is sometimes something that a lot of people are more willing to not disrupt
Yeah.
in order for the bond and the relationship to continue, either not knowing, because I've been in situations, I do try to give like a fair evaluation, but I don't get to see everything all day long either. It's hard to at this point. You just can't go there. So you've got to individually base it. But when you've given honest answers before and you don't get like the honest answer, you were like the reply, like the sincerity of asking somebody that in return, you feel like you've burned a bridge, and it can make you a little gun shy.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
In a way, definitely.
Right.
I mean, you have to kind of consider, at least I do on some level, is it worth me voicing my opinion to this person? Are they actually going to be receptive
Right.
of it?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Put their ego in the way and
Right.
Yeah.
give you a bunch of excuses on why it was.
Yeah.
Right.
Or you're just going to call out, oh, I love how you use this, and
Right.
and focus on.
Skip over the stuff you didn't like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
And
they
I'll-
cut you off and say, well, because you're in for something, the ego's getting in the way.
And
I
also
don't-
got that a little bit when people might have questioned gray as a background color.
I think.
Or no,
gray-
did that
no,
kind of go
I thought
enough?
gray was
Did that go far
it
enough
was
for you?
not. Yeah, I don't think anyone. Well, I guess a few people were against it, and even you were like black. It's whatever. And I just said, well, no one's doing gray. I know it's kind of weird, but no one's doing it. And my team were definitely hesitant to it. I brought it to Glen, and you crushed it, number one. But a lot of it's hard.
What made you
to-
warm up to it?
I don't know. I think you just kind of took my word for it, I guess. I don't know. I think you just maybe in your mind thought of the packaging concept, but
but whenever I have these conversations with people, I always get excited, and it's really honest. So jumping back to what we were just talking about with ego, there's people that I've met and clients that have come to me who've wanted me to do their whatever, and I won't work with them just because I know that I'm not going to be able to do my best work because they're going to be dictating everything to me, and that's not how I operate. But with you,
You trust your process enough. I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead. Go into this.
Yeah. I mean, and about getting opinions, he saw your shit before you did. I mean, just to let you know.
Oh,
I didn't say that. I was like, yo, that shit's stoked.
Well, the thing is,
He's
so,
like, no,
if you
no.
sent it to me, it'd still probably be about like 6 hours before I actually responded back.
True. Well, I'd send stuff to him, and I'm kind of like, I'm ready to go. I got this to do. I've got these hours blocked off for them today, and I'd send a question, and then I'd go take a nap, and then I'd have dinner.
I'm in the lab. She's in the kitchen
You're
with
not
a
the only
vibrating table
one.
going.
And then I skipped Instagram entirely. And then I sent them a message on Facebook, and I'm like, I'll get him on Facebook. Still nothing. And then I'm just, and I'm like, all right, please just tell me what's the best way. Oh,
Is this
text
good or
is
not?
probably best.
Knock on the door, hit the doorbell.
Yeah, right? Well, I actually did that.
You did do that. It worked.
That's how you got our attention.
Yeah. But I have these visions in my head, like when I get excited, I'm talking, I can see things, the wheels are turning, and I can see things happening
Right.
with their brand or whatever, just through the conversation. And no, not all the time do they get what they want or what they think they want.
Right.
Because I've been doing this shit for 25
You gotta
years.
show us what we want. We don't know.
Sometimes,
Yeah,
yes.
We're more so focused on the product, not
Great
the packaging.
call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love people
sure.
who have vision and have opinions about what they want to see. I mean, because if they're telling me what they're seeing, it makes it easier for me to be able to fulfill that, right? If there's too much of that,
Right.
that's where the ego's falling
It's
into
not
play.
abstract
And then
enough.
I'm just kind of like, I can't create what you're seeing in your head because
You're not seeing it.
I'm not seeing it,
not what
but I
you're
don't agree with it.
Yeah.
I think that's a stupid direction, but
I feel like with you and I at the beginning, you were going through some things. So the logo design was, our communication was there. But when you saw me do my elevator pitch to Shane at Green Truck of what I grow and why I grow it, I could feel his energy right next to me. I'm like, oh, this guy's fucking feeling this. And after that, you were like, yo, like, let's do everything together. I'm like, all right, let's go.
Well, but
it got me to like get comfortable, and I was in my sales mode to show Green Truck what I had. He just happened to be there, and it was it's hard when they like put you on the spot and you have to like say, oh, this is what I want my brand to be. But when I'm selling to a store and what I grew, that's very easy for me. Here's why I grow it, and here's how I grew it.
Yeah.
And he got to see that, and I feel like that unlocked a lot for us.
It did. And then he opened the jar. And then like angels started singing, and I heard like these trumpets, and there was like this,
we got these cool little speakers in there.
and like little like special soft LED lights that just
Confetti.
glow when, you know. Yeah, so that helped. I'm like, damn, this kid knows what he's doing.
Let me fast forward it or look forward into the future of branding and marketing in Maine. Where do you see like some of the platforms, and where do you see like interaction points coming for each of your companies?
Right here.
What? I'm sorry?
Right here is a great example why I wanted to bring all three of us together. I feel like there's so many groups that are being formed, and there's so many stores, and everyone knows the clicks that are happening, and having like a safe place to bring multiple brands to really like humanize us is so essential. Magazines like Beer and Weed, another place to kind of put your name out there and advertise. And I feel like Maine is the best place, not to steal the show here, but Maine is our state in the country that's going to really bring craft business of any sort out. And I feel like we're lucky to be here.
Is that threat? Oh, I want to continue with that thought. Any other input on that? On like where you see the market heading or going for your company in the coming? Will it still be on Instagram? Like, what if Instagram falls off?
Just
in a sense, and it still has.
Well, it's Instagram.
Instagram has a small percentage still, right?
Interaction, and you just wiped off the face of the
right
platform.
And collaborating, like we were talking about,
Yeah.
like, that resonates with the consumer really well. We've always tried to employ the rising tide mentality. If we can create a win-win situation, that's good for not just me, but you, and then the consumer sees that and that spills over. Just come to a situation with positivity, and it'll usually resonate with people, and the consumer feels that. Versus like the infighting, the bickering and shit that just doesn't work. I think that's having like little events, like I want to do shit we have a parking lot at the store in Portland. I want to do stuff there, but I don't want to just do GHdesignCo shit. I want to include other people. You know, maybe in our store we have brand spotlights and things like that.
Bring some of them people
or having
in.
people come into the store and pitch their own brand, things like that.
Like a jar takeover instead of a tap takeover.
Atlantic Farms has done well with that too. They haven't been able to because of COVID, but like those sorts of things just show unity in the community, and it's important. That's where I think it'll.
I'd love to see a tie-in with music too. I mean, before GHdesignCo, I owned 207 brand, and I don't know if I was the first, but I think I was one of the first with Ken Bell down at the Big Easy, doing mixed genre shows where I'd have, the Other Bones and the Educated Advocates and Spose mixed with like Whitcomb and metal, and I would never release the lineup. Because if they're like, okay, I don't know when Spose goes on, but I don't want to miss them, so I'm going to get there at 8. And all these people who were total metal fans would see Spose, and they'd be like, this guy's fucking awesome, you know? And it was the same for all these bands would get new followers because they would never venture out of their tunnel vision as far as their music selection or when they went out.
That's me.
So it was really, expanding the experience for a lot of people in Portland, and I absolutely love that. I'd love to see maybe more.
Were you trying to
of
book
that.
like 3-4 bands in a night? That way
I
you
would.
keep a high variety going as well. In that sense.
And I did 3. I think I did like maybe 3 or 4 shows like that.
I like that idea. I like
where
that concept.
it was all mixed genre, and then some other people started doing like the State of the State, which is a larger version of what I was doing on a smaller scale. But every show was a success, and that's how I was doing, getting my design stuff out. Like my badassery or my edgy side. I was doing a lot of design work for all these different bands and helping them to make money through apparel sales and whatever.
Can there be this grouping? Are we going to be able to get cannabis and music and
Without a
food
doubt.
together soon enough?
Probably not
like-
beer and alcohol.
Probably
but
not
food,
beer?
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, it
there's-
should be able to, but
There should be a
it's
mix of
tough.
those worlds.
I think
That's
some
going to be a
evolution
tough
needs
one.
to happen as far
Yeah, it'll
as
be a little
public
while.
consumption and
Yeah.
the whole.
Well, the only people who are doing it now is Funky Bowl. And but that's only because the tap room and the beer facility divides through the parking lot to the other disc golf
Yeah.
facility, which is owned and under a different company name, and that's where the dispensary is. So it's one of the only places I know
Where's that?
of. It's
Funky
Bowl.
Bowl.
Funky
They're-
Bowl. They
yeah.
have a dispensary now?
Yes.
I didn't know that. Nice.
So you can go and you can get all your
just cross the line.
your beer there.
Drink over here. I'm smoking.
Yeah,
over here.
and then you could walk across the parking lot and you could pick up your pre-roll and whatever. We've got to plug the magazine too heavily, but we've got this event coming up on October 9th from 5 to 7, where if you're a subscriber to the magazine, we're
That
gonna
on camera.
we're gonna buy you if you're a subscriber, we're gonna buy you a beer and a pre-roll.
Oh, cool.
And if you're not a subscriber, if you go and you buy the Black Cherry,
Yep.
you will give you a free subscription to the magazine.
Nice.
So
Easy enough.
but they're good friends of mine. I've been working with them forever. They're one of my very first, other than Bissell, they're one of my first like full brand
Yep. Exploration.
packages. So
It sounds like the framework of how to do these events, because that's like the hesitation of a lot of us is how to do it and not, get any backlash of separating the two. I think it's
Yeah.
great to learn from.
well, they're in a very unique position because they own 25 acres.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, Ben has done. You've done some collaboration
That was
in the past.
that's when we used to. So before, I'm not gonna go into that story, but when we were like, that's a long one.
He
but-
egged you right into it.
yeah,
You gotta
all
dodge
just like the
this.
back end of like why we were doing them or whatever. But it was really just to get the brand out there. Like
Yeah.
really, that's what the core of it was. And I used to just go flip merch. I would like have a merch table. We would make some non-medicated edibles. And we would just give them away for free. So I used to work at Oxbow. I worked there for 4 years, starting in 2011, and so I'd made friends with all these guys in the beer industry. So they'd be like, "Yeah, you can we can bring it." I had a little formula where it was like, you had like some sort of merch or apparel release, get a DJ involved, and maybe a couple other things, and they'd let us set up a table. And again, just flip merch at these events. But they were always at breweries, Oxbow or Bunker and places like that.
Yeah.
So I was very fortunate in that regard. But there was never, we never got any shit because they didn't have any weed there. That was really
Yeah.
the big one. It was really just to push the apparel and get the name out there.
I have seen some big, say, outdoor venue, concert
Bonfire.
events type things where people are walking around in branded T-shirts with a fanny pack full of frickin' pre-rolls, giving out free pre-rolls.
Backpack boys. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean we've
but
we've skirted to and flirted with some things.
yeah,
and
but I
done
mean,
some
is
stuff.
that? But I don't know. Is that even above board? I mean, because I know that you can't in the state.
Dispensing
You
point may be an issue.
yeah. Well, I know you can't give away free beer in this. It has to be like the beer that we are giving away at Funky Bowl. We are buying. And the pre-rolls that we are giving away at Funky Bowl for that event, we are buying. So it's, you can't give away shit. This is more of a question.
I'm staying out of this one.
Yeah, you're not. You're not supposed. I mean,
You're not
You should
supposed to.
verify age, med card holder, all
Right,
the other
right.
things, and you shouldn't. No.
Can't give it away.
No, that tactic would have already been used on the mainstream marketing of cannabis.
Well, it was
like
already, if
donations
it was
and
legal.
stuff,
I
but
think there would have been a
giving
lot of
away,
giveaways.
yeah,
so.
Yeah, we never even flirted with.
So I think
the,
you can. You
buy
could
the
maybe
jar.
get away with like $1 for a pre-roll
buy
or
the
something like
jar.
that.
Or the
But you
T-shirt
can't-
getting out.
Yeah.
You can't
We
go
never.
free.
Well, there are
One of my
places
friends
that
crushed it
give
doing
away like free pre-roll Thursday or something like that. Like if you come in and you buy something, you get a free.
Right, with the stipulation.
It's a penny. You have to actually charge them a penny.
Got
And that's the
okay.
legal issue. It's
Got it.
They're still technically paying for it.
And every store is different. Every store kind of bends.
So there's more of a reliance for a brand, if we do lose some of these mediums, to be relying on their in-store presence, right?
That's-
Would that be fair to
100%.
say too?
We
I mean,
focus
does that
a
become a
lot-
larger part of the equation?
I think that's a huge. We focus everything to newsletters now. If we lose our Instagram, we have a list of a lot of people, and we
You guys
try to
should-
like give them some like inside track to things. But
Newsletters are huge, and also trying to develop your own platform for your own brand for people to go there for
Yeah.
that particular resource is huge. I mean, we got our Instagram shut down last February?
yeah,
This past February.
Yeah, this past February. And
which is crazy too, because it seemed like we all know the guidelines, and you guys followed them.
Yeah.
It's
Followed them
pretty messed
closely.
up to see good brands
weed
get
or
hit.
anything, no
Yeah,
sales.
it was like literally like you were the example for us as a brand, because we're like comments, messages, but we're like maybe we need to create infographics with like no weed present. But then you guys lost yours, and we're like, well, fuck.
yeah.
What are you doing? Yeah, we're like, let's go for sale. I'll ship.
But not on Instagram.
Yeah.
But trying to develop a way to curate more of a personal relationship with the end consumer, I think, is huge.
Yeah,
Rather
for
than
sure.
being this big mysterious entity. That
Yeah.
Yep.
I think websites would be pretty huge.
Websites,
That'll be
yeah.
Blogs
I'd
and-
rather drive people to my
Are you
website.
able to? Are you able to generate people towards your websites more? Like
try
a
to.
percentage, and does it feel like you're reaching a?
I mean,
Surprising amount go. They're like, we love you. Like the customers will come to the store, patients come to the store, or whatever, and they'll say that like we X, Y, and Z your website. People definitely look
people
at it.
look at
It's
websites. If you look at whatever little traffic
Yeah.
counter
Yeah, the
thing or
Google-
whatever you may have
Yeah.
for it,
Yeah.
what if you go there?
Analytics, definitely.
Oh, that's great.
I feel like it's
that's great to have that with
different
them,
demographic,
isn't
too.
it? Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
informative consumers, they like to do their research before. I feel like it's the older generation,
And they'll call you and say hello.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we
Look
get
at your website right now.
I'm on your website and I have a question.
yeah, for sure.
You know they're talking about me, right? Older generation. Yeah,
They are.
Yeah.
How do you use this? I can't double click it, right?
Yeah.
That's
Got him a
us.
little
That's
tech
us.
savvy, just a little bit.
So that means content on the website is going to have to be what evolves quite a bit then for you now, right?
Yeah, that's-
more
that's
more
difficult,
consideration
yeah.
than ever before.
Yeah,
Well, and that's something
and
that
synergy of the brand.
yes, and I think that's something that everybody should consider doing is the content. Ben started doing it heavily in the beginning. Then he just
Hours
got
today. I just redid everything today for like my
Nice.
cart and shit like that. I've really been trying to push my website more.
Nice. Good.
Because of that. I spent hours.
well,
It's
but what I
You didn't
Yep,
like it, did
yep.
you?
what I love
Everything was
about
out of
it,
date.
and what we do for I feel what's going to help us build the Beer and Weed magazine too is the content being SEO friendly and everything else. I mean, what Ben was doing was really educating people, and that's our position with the magazine too. It's not just about just ads and pretty shit.
The more they know
It's-
about the products that they're thinking about consuming or taking, I mean, the bigger benefit to all of you, really.
Ancillary industry.
I loved how in your last issue, I think it was Sweet Dirt, talked about MOFGA and the cost of the certification. And I worked with a Dem Pure certified farm for a while, and when I saw like what entails with MOFGA, it kind of like a farm that I won't name. They're the most organic regenerative farm in our state, and MOFGA denied them because they had chickens as their IPM. And it's like chickens eat insects, and it just seems like common sense. But since it was like live game or whatever they called it, and they're invasive of like your books, and and it costs $800 a year, and your magazine was great to highlight that because there are a lot of brands that like promote certified by what, and it's like a paid for thing. And
That's
I
what
loved that from the
A
magazine.
lot of people don't understand, even just in the relating back to the food world. They're in
Like
Mercer
everything.
down in Ecuador. Like for him, he has to pay money to go
Exactly.
get these little labels attached to his thing. That's just not really. People don't realize kind of the extortion aspect
Oh, it's-
of the whole
The fair
fair
trade.
trade
model.
or
Yeah, it's the
non-GMO or whatever it may be. It's not
Pay
as
for play.
transparent as people.
Everything
Hope
is
it
kind of
be.
like that these days. It's kind of sad.
Yeah.
It's Seaspiracy. I don't know if you guys watch that on Netflix, but they outlined like the dolphin safe, and they went to their office, and the guy was like, "So how do you guys have people on boats?" And he's like, "Oh no, like they just pay us." It's like that's the world we live in, you know.
Yeah. Yep.
So education from what we do, why we do it, on our website, on Instagram, newsletters, however we can get it into people's minds.
Yeah.
But paying for a certification isn't what we're about.
Yeah.
Really.
The transparency is the education.
Yeah, exactly.
Best
Yeah.
education you can get.
And honestly, that's
why we do it.
that's kind of the approach that we take with the magazine too. Is it's we want to emphasize the quality and care, the keepsake, the collected, the effort that you guys
Yeah.
put into your grows and your product. We're trying to do the same thing with this and educate people and present them with information. This isn't. It's not like, oh, I own a store and I want you to write a 4-page article about my store. We don't do that. You know, this pay for play model. You know, it's. I think that's kind of cheating. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We've never, as long as I've done podcasting or in the idea of going out there and doing outreach for, say, sponsorship or people you're interested in talking to, the idea of talking to big names or big entities has never been an interest whatsoever.
Yeah.
You know, you want to deal with the people who you're going to live with as well and create a community and something better for everybody.
And that's
Maine.
Maine.
Exactly.
That's we have
what we're
enough
about
of that here to give me the kind of hope that it can persist and it can go further. We can become more united and maybe become something different out of it. You know, there's enough individuals who perhaps collectively we can form something greater and better. And so it's already started. There's this community there. I don't want to say everybody thinks the same and approaches things the same, but there's something you've all endured before being here to this moment that created a different personality than exists, like more consistent a personality, I think, that exists than in other demographics of people. And I see it as a strength. I see it as something creative and energetic.
Yeah.
Much more realistic because you've already endured a great deal. You know, there's sort of like you put your time in so many different ways. You devote 7 days a week to it.
Yeah, growing
you know what I mean?
sucks.
And it's been always
No vacation.
right.
No, you don't. No
That's a
one
hard
knows.
sell when you're looking to hire, isn't it?
Honestly,
No
like-
vacation.
No
I've
vacation.
learned-
Sorry,
I've
not
learned
here.
Easy. It's the owners.
Yeah, no, I've even learned to like employees like to really let them know what they're getting into, especially trimmers. Like trimming is a great job, but it sucks. Like I love trimming because I love what I grow. But,
I would need my
not
role
everyone
to be
does that.
mixed up a little bit in
Yeah.
order for me to sustain long
have
term.
to.
Yeah, I couldn't
Yeah,
be
I
just a
agree.
I
trimmer.
think that's one thing I've learned most about is just as far as, with employees, is
Yeah.
because the things that we do throughout our day to day are so mundane and
Glorified
monotonous.
factory work.
And like to
Over
us,
and over.
we don't
Yeah.
care. We would do that all
Right.
day, any
Yeah, they
day,
need to
it is,
happen.
whatever it is.
Right.
But to then put yourself more so in the employee's position, do they really want to be doing
No.
the same thing 8 to 10 hours a day, 5
Every day.
7 days a week, every day? 'Cause
With
you
the
could have them
same
do it in
people,
theory,
it's
but
Yeah.
very frustrating. You know?
Turn
That-
into
that
just
mentally-
manufacturing at that point,
right,
right?
and
It's
mentally
not
it's
this.
not going to stimulate them.
You want to carry
either.
over that energy you want in your company. That's
You
not
wanna
going to
create a
be.
culture, not just
It's not going to
everybody
do
doing
it.
the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm
I
surprised
worked
that
at
one of these
kitchen.
monkeys didn't bring at least a couple pounds for us to be trimming while we're sitting on top.
All right, right. We got time. He it
Literally
seems like he
my
brought a
whole
couple
life.
pounds, but it's already trimmed.
That's funny.
Changing it up just a little bit, there's a new question I've mentioned to Travis. There's a new question that I feel that it open-ended. It can be about cannabis, it can be about industry, it can be about life. But I feel like probably now more than ever before, it feels more relevant about who we are and where we're going forward as just, it's been a trying couple of years, let's say, on a global, and it brings up some concern. So the question is, and you can say what you want, take it in any direction you'd like. I'm fine with it, but what the fuck matters to you in your life? What is the thing that matters most? What would you like to see, like, come from that deepest desire, I suppose? Like what makes you tick?
So
Like, when
I
push
cheated,
comes to
and
shove.
Kerry asked me this the other day. And
Yeah, I was going to tell you to start.
I'll start to give you guys some time to think, but I used to think it was my connection to the plants. But when he asked me that, I was like, what the fuck matters? And I'm like, well, that's a weird question. And then I was like, well, what does? And I used to always think about like being selfish. Like, I love my plants, how they make me feel, how I am in the garden. But like that was like, I guess, how I started my company. But now it's like I have a guy, Jordan, my grower, that just had his second baby. And Jordan comes to me thanking me for the opportunity and thanking me for like the flexibility of working here, and like his wife Jess, who's a good friend as well, like thanking me for, you know, just being there for them, like they're my family too. And I just realized it's all about the people and the relationships that I'm building in my own business. I used to think it was plants, but like what I'm getting chills right now talking about it. It's what the feedback from people that I work with and people that I hire, and how like they tell me that I'm changing their lives, like kind of like really does it for me.
Yeah, that's powerful. That's great. I understand that a little bit. It was strange for me getting into podcasting and thinking that people were going to recognize my voice and come up to me every once in a while. And I never thought that was going to be part of podcasting. Like, people say, hey, I know your voice. You're this guy. And I'm like, you listen to the podcast? Great, let's talk. I'll take you out to dinner. Which is, yeah, just one of those hidden gems. Like, I didn't realize that there was going to be this connectivity that would start between patients and people who followed it. And you sort of have a greater reach, greater depth with people of all types of lifestyles.
It's a trip to think about.
Where their common denominator is cannabis, I suppose. But, you know.
I guess ultimately for me, it definitely changes your perspective once you start to have employees and they have lives that, you know, they need to support, and you personally need to help them figure out how to support their whole life. But really just enabling them to continue to kind of pursue like their own ultimate potential, kind of whatever that may look like or be, but to allow there to be room for growth overall at the end of the day. Because really, I mean, if you're not growing and if you're not trying to expand your knowledge base or what you're capable of, it's really...
What's the point?
Right, exactly. And that's what I enjoy the most about my life.
Right.
So try and create an environment for other people to do the same thing.
Yeah, I think for me, it's changing people's perception. Growing up, I got diagnosed with ADD, which is kind of a marketing thing.
Yeah.
But basically, for me, the only thing I found that worked was smoking weed. So I would like trade my Adderall for weed.
Yeah.
And that would like help me focus and help me kind of zone in. But it was sort of stigmatized. I got kicked out of school for it. So it was always this thing that like you said, like I did, and I always thought I was so alone in it.
Yeah.
But now to be able to make products that take that generation that was sort of persecuting me for it, and have them be like, I can't believe that this is something that I spoke against, and now it's like completely making my life worth living. So it's kind of seeing the whole thing come full circle.
Which I think helps kind of, which was the reason why I think we started a lot with edibles, is because it's an easy way to kind of cross that barrier, that connection that people have, or kind of minimize that stigma that people associate with cannabis. If they can eat something, it's not as bad to them as smoking.
Right. No, there's always going to be that segment that would have been
Exactly.
anti-smoking.
My dad,
Yeah,
I'm going to get him to eat an edible. He won't smoke, but he's going to eat one.
Yeah, well, that's the new gateway.
Jim, I'm on my way.
For me, it's, I mean, kind of took my own, it's relationships in general. You know, you're not going to, people, especially as we're hiring people on, you're not going to be happy. Not everybody's going to be happy every day. People have inner strife and everything like that. But I want to create the culture. I want people to come to work and be excited to be there, because we do have a dramatic impact on their lives. They spend a lot of fucking time working for us, and they work hard. That's why I like when we hire somebody on, we're still small enough where I say, what do you want to do? Because I want to make sure I can. I want to. If you want to wear a lot of hats, cool. I'll try to flip you through different things and stuff like that. Or if you just want to fucking trim, that's cool too. Cool. Then go. Yeah, if you're happy doing that, then trim. That's I don't. Yeah. And I want feedback too. Let me know how you're doing or how I'm doing. That's a big one for me.
It's a new role. Managing people.
Yeah.
Managing in a work environment and in a life environment. Yeah, right.
Yeah, so it's growth. I grow through them as well. Right. And I push them to grow as best I can as well. And patience. I don't know. Having a store, it's fucking... you have people that come in and just want to, get blasted off dabs and shit like that.
Yeah, right.
But you have people that come in that, this is, this
saved my life.
Just completely turned everything around.
It's really cool to see.
Yeah.
That is very, that's very satisfying. I think that's what the medical program and the people who work in the medical program still will always have above, that's going to separate itself too. So that one-on-one, as long as we continue to have people who are part of that belief, we'll go a long ways. We'll go somewhere far.
That's my favorite part, I would say, about that is just hearing people, we have this one patient who's a drug and alcohol counselor, and she's in her 70s or so, and she's got her hip replaced, but she delayed getting her hip replaced and pretty much consumed a bunch of edibles to help alleviate her pain and to delay the hip replacement. And so it's just interesting because way back when, as far as the relationship with her kids and cannabis and all that sort of stuff, it was very, very taboo. She's had to testify against it previously, and to hear her come in and sit down and talk about it, she's like, I could never give this up, and just such a complete 180. And how that evolution is
changed their mind and helped them at the same time, and they're like, wait, what'd you just do?
Yeah,
you gave me weed and I feel better than I've ever felt.
It's called meditation.
Glenn? Would you like to answer that final question?
I have a bit of a contact high from all these months.
Good to know.
I mean, so the question is, what matters to me?
What the fuck matters?
What the fuck matters to me?
Pardon my French.
As most of these guys know, almost lost my daughter last year in a rollover. So she matters a lot to me. My kids, obviously, matter a lot. I spent a lot of time feeling that wealth was the pinnacle, and I had massive global successful companies, and I worked 100 hours a week, and you learn fairly quickly that none of that shit matters, and it's all about, like you guys are saying, it's about the relationships, right? I'm lucky enough that I get to pick and choose who I want to work with. And every single person at this table I value as a true friend, somebody I can sit down and, which I have. So I don't know these guys as well. We will. But with these two, I've had massive, life-changing conversations with these guys, I mean, to me, it's about finding like-minded people and building those connections. And my mom was a clinical psychologist, and I was raised, and well, how did that make you feel when that happened?
Right.
So that was my entire life, but it's helped me to be who I am now, and communicating, say, those feelings, it's communicating who they are to everybody else too. So it's a huge help to me, but that's what matters most, I think, is taking my work and my ability to communicate to that next level, whatever that level is, and building those connections along the way, with, my kids and my friends, these guys are like family to me.
Family and friends is what's always going
to
prove, when you're thinking about that, I think it's in the right direction.
Yeah, and it's more so than, I mean, I can keep my bills paid. I almost consider myself semi-retired. I get on a plane and I go fishing someplace like I'm doing next week.
I want to hang out with you more.
I know. But it's not all about the dollar anymore. No. It's more about the connection. My bills are paid and I'm living my best life, and that's what matters to me right now. I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
That certainly
did.
Thank
you very much.
Yeah,
I want to thank you.
I just wanted to say, our dinner the other night, a couple of weeks ago, how you and I were chopping it up about different brands in the industry, and you know, you light up like ideas in my head, and I feel like that the projects you work on and maybe, you know, from your perspective might like really give you energy in life to have a person like myself, Ben, Janelle, and Corey, be like, yo, your new design did this for me, and this is the amount of people I can like touch from that, and like how many people gave me feedback, and I'm sure that gives you a high. It's right?
It's
like,
awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, I get so excited. Like, you know, most recently with your stuff, I was like, can I please post this? Can I
Yeah,
post this?
right,
You know,
right.
like,
Yeah.
like I'm just waiting. I'm so excited for the world to see what
Waiting
we've
for the
created.
text message back.
Yeah.
You know?
Then he hits me up. Dude, this is dope.
Well, I mean, you
It
know,
is dope, though.
Oh, it is. It's awesome.
It-
Can't wait for that.
yeah,
Cool.
Yeah.
Physical.
I love it. Just everything about. I absolutely.
You're living
love-
that life you were
loving
looking
that job,
for.
dude.
Job, yeah.
I
And it seems like
absolutely-
all of you are on your way towards it as well, if you're not already there. But that's good.
There's a
Nice
lot
to
of
see.
passion in this room, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feeling it.
I want to thank you all for coming in
Thank you.
today.
Thank
Spending
you.
an
Thanks for
afternoon.
having
This was
us.
a lot of fun.
Appreciate it.
I enjoyed it. Let's go eat a good meal.
Great.
Thanks.